Guys, how is everyone doing? A warm welcome back to my channel. Yesterday we had a crazy day at the World Cup. 7-1 is something that no one can really comprehend, and I have prepared something really interesting for you because I spent 8 reais today, which is less than $4, went to a store and bought all possible newspapers about the game. The day after, here in Brazil, and I need to show them to you because they're really funny and also pretty sad. So there are a couple of words that you need to know in Portuguese to understand, and this title here tells you everything. Pena means a punishment. Desânimo means something like disenchantment. Tristeza is sadness. Raiva is anger. Dor is pain. Decepção is deception, and vergonha is shame. All of the emotions that Brazilians feel right now. This is one of the newspapers, the local ones, and let's see if there's something really interesting here. Volta Brasileirão, they're already calling for the local league to resume, to come back, because they have enough of the World Cup. I wonder why. Now, this one here is Hora, Meia Hora, and the title is Não Vai Ter Copa. Before the World Cup, there were many protests in Brazil, and Não Vai Ter Copa was the major slogan of these protests. It means there will be no cup, there will be no World Cup, meaning that the protests will be so big that the World Cup will just drown in them. That didn't happen, but the slogan worked really well for the day after the largest defeat in the Brazilian history. And I found something really cool here inside this newspaper, which is the quote that has been repeated many times today, which is not even Volkswagen can make 5 goals in 9 minutes. No, 7 goals in 90 minutes. But the goal here is the model of the car. Volkswagen goal is the model of Volkswagen. So there's another kind of humorous summary to this. One thing that I have to tell you about Brazilian newspapers is that they approach everything with extreme humor, as opposite to the European tradition of journalism and newspapers. Everything here is covered by the huge dose of humor, which I really enjoy. It kind of reflects the Brazilian personality and nature. Now, this newspaper here, Lance, they actually decided to leave the first page blank, and they just put a quick message, again denoting the emotions they're feeling, which is indignation, revolt, which is more like bounty, I guess, pain, frustration, irritation, shame, punishment, and disillusion. And then they say, tell us what you feel. And a nice kind of a picture here, you can see the Brazilian eagle hit by the arrow in the form of the number 7. And one more thing that you will see here is, there are 2 more nice things. First is this one, right? The 7 hands down, the 7 dislikes from the Brazilian press, and this one here is very nice. The Brazilians are always very good at appreciating other nations and other players that are very good. It's in this sense, it's a very just nation. They're not very xenophobic. So they put closer here, saying fenomeno, and il fenomeno is until today is the nickname of Ronaldo, who was, until Klose's goal yesterday, was the best goal scorer ever in the history of the World Cups. So you can see that there's this part of extreme anger and shame because of the Brazilian team, but there's also this respect for the Germans and for other players that are very good. Jogo Extra. This one here is, would have the standard pictures of Brazilians crying. I mean, crying was all they were doing in this World Cup, right? And then there's the shame in 7 acts, vergonha em 7 atos. But what's the Oh, this one is good. This one is very historical. Maracanazo Fichinha, meaning the Maracanazo, the Uruguay game from 1950, is a piece of cake, is nothing compared to what happened yesterday. And here on the front page, you pretty much have no information as well. You just have the Pior Vexame da Historia, which means the biggest humiliation in history, forming the letter 7. Again, a nice play. And two final ones. Actually, I have three more. This one is O Globo, which is the major newspaper in Brazil. It's kind of the New York Times of Brazil. Easy stuff. Shame, grievance, humiliation. 3 keywords. Here you have David Luiz crying. Inside you have like 20 pages of analysis. It's pretty crazy. An ironical title: Brazil 1-7 to Germany, and the national team makes history. Hard to disagree that they've made history. But what's interesting is on the sports pages they talk about sports, but on the second page of the actual Globo, like the major news thing, they're already wondering what electoral effect the defeat of yesterday will have on the elections, because Brazil has elections this year, and many people in Brazil, many analysts think what happens to the Brazilian team will have a major effect on how people will vote in the elections. So it's kind of a defeat of the current president, who was also a big supporter of the cup. And the two final ones is Ugia, which makes... This is the only title I really don't enjoy, because it's very aggressive and it puts blame on one person, which is never the case in soccer, really. It basically says, Vai para inferno Felipao, which means Scolari. Scolari is named Felipao here in Brazil. Go to hell. And they repeat the same kind of thing, the same appeal inside. They talk about how Felipao messed it all. Here's a less than happy picture of one more Brazilian fan. Let me see if there's any interesting, because I want to go to the final one, which is the best. The day that Brazil cried. Okay, let's go to the final one, which is from Extra. It's another newspaper here in Rio, one that I don't really need, but I think they're winning it with the title, because they're going all the way to history. There we go. What they're saying here is parabéns, which is like congratulations, but what they're actually saying is greetings, and they say greetings to the Brazilian vice champions, world vice champions from 1950, who were always indicated and accused of the largest shame and largest humiliation in the history of Brazilian football. And the last sentence here says, today we know what the humiliation really is. And it's great because it puts everything in the immediate historical perspective. And I think we will know in a couple of years if that's true, like how will this go into history. But for now it seems that the Maracanazo of 1950 is really nothing compared to what Brazilians warranted to their fans yesterday. Oh, and this is the picture of the final goal of 1950, when the keeper Moacir Barbosa made an error that kind of let the Uruguayans win and made him into the scapegoat until the very last day of his life. There's some information about the violence yesterday in Rio, and I'll leave you with this. Eu não acredito. Eu não acredito, meaning I don't believe. And this is actually what I think as well about this. I've watched soccer for 25 years and more, and have never seen anything like this, let alone 4 goals in 6 minutes. But Brazil losing like this is something that I will be able to tell my grandkids many years from now, when I'll be out of Brazil, that I've been here on this day when Brazil lost so much. I still love Brazil as a country, but nevertheless, there was something special. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back to my channel and have a good time. See you later.